Hi, my name is Lawrence Cairo from Guam, and this is my water story. Growing up on an island, you would expect that there's an abundance of water and abundance of resources. However, that might not necessarily be the case. We also have a freshwater aquifer that we rely on for our drinking and usage. And sometimes we find threats to that aquifer from places that are not of our own doing. One particular issue that is close to me is the contamination by PFAS or PFOA that has been found not just on Guam, but in many places throughout the nation and the world. And so when it comes to PFAS and PFOA, one of the major concerns is that all of the health risks, such as cancer, low birth rates, are strongly correlated with the exposure to PFAS that's often labeled as a forever chemical because of how long it can last, not just in the water supply, but also in the human body. And so with everything going on right now with the US EPA trying to further regulate PFAS, there's a very real concern that the levels of PFAS that are found on Guam's waters, which were not previously a threat, might actually be something to be concerned about. I did my undergraduate thesis on PFAS and the environment, and we found that regulating PFAS after it's been into the environment and really trying to clear up some of the PFAS is expensive, if not, nearly impossible. In the water economy, people always say that dilution is the solution, right? But there's only so much water that we can sacrifice in order to make the water that's available to us usable again. And so I'd really like to just caution everyone, that water isn't something that is just there, even from someone that's just in the middle of an island. Water is a resource that we really need to think carefully about because in the next 10, 15, 20 years, it could be a scarce commodity as valuable as gold.
Thank you so much for sharing. Personally, experiences from Taiwan. I know growing up on an island, you're surrounded by like a lot of salt water, and it's easy to think that there's a lot of water, but in reality, even the water that you get, heavy rainfall isn't always great for drinking. So, with climate changing so much with global warming and water resources diminishing, have you noticed something similar in like maybe access to water or different systems in Guam as a result of climate change?
Yeah, so as a result of climate change, we're definitely seeing not just our freshwater resources being at risk, but also our seawater resources, right? So with rising temperatures, we're definitely start to see saltwater rise. And with that, also the possibility of saltwater intrusion into our aquifer, which affects our drinking supply. With the scarcity of food, people are becoming a little bit more risky in terms of trying to secure food resources. So they'll start a wildfire, for example, in order to access some fauna that they may not see with all the brush. And so they'll set the brush on fire, which lets a lot of the soil that is held down by the trees erode and go into our seawater and our freshwater rivers as well. And so there's definitely a big concern with climate change, especially again with being an island with only so much resources. But it's there's a lot of work being done locally and internationally as well. So we'll see where that takes us.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.